Hello everyone. I've been thinking in this last couple of days of all the people that have inspired me over the years, and there's been lots and lots of people, some in huge ways, some in wonderfully small ways. When I first got involved in mediumship, I was young, and so at age 16 I would be at the Spiritualist Church watching all the mediums every week. I'd be watching mediums, every special, every event, and then I would start to read the Doris Stokes books, and to say I grew up on the Doris Stokes books. I was reading Doris Stokes books, say, at the age of 16, when all of my friends were out and about trying to buy drinks from pubs, etc. And I'd be there reading voices and innocent voices and these wonderful books, simple books about the work of a medium. And even now I get such a warm feeling, even just thinking about them. So that's a long time ago. And some of those books I've read since, and some I've never read. And yet one day I'm sure I'll get another opportunity to read them all again and hopefully feel the same way about them. But these books were written and were the works about Doris Stokes. And surprisingly now, lots of people have never even heard of her work, but she was a lady from memory from Grantham in England, then moved somewhere near London and became incredibly famous, I suppose, very popular through her books. And I was talking to one of my online groups about her quite recently, and just saying I think that the major appeal of this lady was how just warm she was, warm and easygoing and herself, and with no great performance to her work. She'd sit invariably as she got older on a stage, and if you look at her work, maybe you'll see something on YouTube, etc. But she might call people lovey and dear, and she just looks like, everybody's grandmother, if they were lucky enough to have a grandmother like her, and exudes kindness and normality, and she makes the whole thing feel normal, I suppose, as well. The concept, she has voices and understandings and imagery, but she simply relays. And do you get that? Do you know that? Well, isn't that lovely, dear? And this ease of presentation is something that is impossible, of course, to learn. It has to be who you are. And I think that the thing about Doris Stokes, the more than any other thing I can truly think of at this time, is she exuded kindness without the want, need, desire to be right. And I think that's possibly the main thing I really wanted to share with you. I know so many of you are aspiring to develop or already working as mediums, and everybody else is looking to the mediums as a way forward to shed light, etc. And I can't believe any of us, if we've been doing this long enough, haven't seen the opposite of that at times. And this is not a whingy video, I promise you it's not. Maybe we've come away from a session, a demonstration, thinking, oh, crumbs, she was a little harsh, she was a little tough, wasn't keen on that. And it's not that we're not so much keen on the people, it's sometimes the attitude, and I get the attitude, I do completely. When, I've stood up in front of a group of people, desperately trying to do my best to make a difference, and everything I've said feels like it's fallen on deaf ears. It's happened a lot, or, you're trying to say, well, I got a feel of your mother here. And someone looks at you with their arms forward and says, have you? And you think, oh, blinky neck, this is going to be tough. I understand that sometimes our human reaction is to kind of become a little defensive. And of course, biggest mistake, because people that seek us out in the future, or if this applies to you, you're willing, wanting to seek somebody else out to make a difference in your life. We all need to be gentle with each other and joyful with each other and easy with each other and honest with each other. And when we have this sort of connection on a human level, that does create a wonderful atmosphere, an ambience, a sense of kindness and joy between the living, let alone the spirit people. So that when we have an ease of character, and people warm to us, or we warm to the worker, spirit have such a, I suppose, a much easier entry, because they simply stand in that warm atmosphere and do their very best to commune with us. I truly believe that I don't know much. Many of you might agree with that. Well done. I don't know much about most things, I'm sure. But one thing I'm absolutely convinced of is that there's something beyond this. Absolutely convinced. Not always from the things I've told other people or people have told me, but just from the feelings. There have been moments over the years where I've sat, sometimes wanting to feel something, sometimes it's taken me massively by surprise, and an atmosphere has come about me which just simply feels heavenly. And no one will ever tell me it's not what it is, and that is sometimes the atmosphere builds in such a way, for whatever reason, that our two worlds merge a little more for a few moments, a few minutes, and then moves again. But in those moments, in those minutes, it is quite heavenly. So I just thought I'd share with you something. And I leave you, I suppose, with whether you feel you're going to be the recipient of, or the medium to, or the psychic who tries to bring understanding and make sense of other people's worlds. Let's place kindness first. And in doing so, really try to bring and remember the love that we constantly talk about that is not always evident. So let's bring the love and some kindness back into the work of mediums. Thank you for listening to me. God bless.